I'm feeding Stella, so just give me a second. She's been complaining, so I have to feed her real quick. Give me 1 minute. Also, do you guys know Lianne La Havas? Because if you don't, you should listen to this album. She's fucking amazing. 1 second. Hello. How is everybody doing? We are here to talk about Tuesdays with Morrie by Mitch Albom. Can you guys believe this book? Awesome book. I'm very happy with it. Sorry, I woke up not too long ago, in case anyone's curious. Took a shower. The name of the song is Unstoppable. Oh, dude, Kat, you're right. Lianne La Havas is amazing. Lianne La Havas, I'll tweet a picture of that song. But yes, let's jump right to it. Because there's a Women's March today, and it's at noon, and we're missing it. So I want to see if it's okay with you guys if we leave like 10 minutes earlier than we normally do, just because there's a Women's March that I want to catch. So I hope everyone's cool with that. I don't see why I wouldn't be. But, first of all, thank you for everyone that's here. Don't ask you about my miles this week. I will give you guys some Shadowhunters updates, because I know you guys saw that trailer. I know you guys watched that trailer. So, Shadowhunters updates. We had our first read-through for Season 3B. We've read Episode 11 and 12. And I'm about to tell you all of the spoilers. No, I can't do that. I'm kidding. I didn't shave today. I'm not shaving for a bit. I'm going to wait till I have to. But I'll tell you that you guys should be extremely excited for the beginning of 3B. It's... Man, I'm trying to see the words I can use to describe it, but it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be interesting. I'm very excited. You guys should be very excited. We have a lot of really cool stuff happening this season. I can't really say too much, to be honest. I don't even know how much I can talk about the trailer. Like, the things that you saw, I don't know if I'm allowed to be like, I don't know if I can talk about it yet, so we're gonna have to wait. Sorry I brought it up. Now I feel bad. But I'm going to tell you, you're going to love it. It's going to be awesome. Also, the opening scene from the trailer with that giant sweep over all of Alicante was Idris, really? That was what I was talking about a while ago when I tweeted. I was like, yo, I just saw this. That's what I was talking about. It was epic. Anyway, I digress. Let's talk about this wonderful book written about this wonderful man. For a while, I was thinking about how to start this last live for Tuesdays with Morrie, because I felt as though it were, when I finished it, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I finished it this morning. I read the last few bits and the conclusion and the afterword. I hope everyone read the afterword. If not, I will talk about it because it was actually one of the, I think, the best parts of the book was Mitch Oldham's afterward, and he wrote something that I want to read to you guys. But yeah, so let's hold on. One-word thoughts. That's a great idea. I love that. Anna Cat Fernandez, I saw your tweets, but I didn't get to read them because I was getting everything else ready for today. But I will, and I love the list that you shared, so I'm going to share that list later. But that's the whole thing. I'm sorry I always pronounce your full name, too. It sounds fun to say. Sorry. So, Tuesdays with Morrie. Let's do our one-word things. What did you think? What were your first impressions? One word of the entire book. Let's do it. Eye-opening. Wow. Amazing. Okay. Loved it. Love that. Oh, God. What happened here? Okay, good. Inspiring. Insightful. I like that. Wow. I think wow is one that I said when I finished. I was just like, wow. Or whoa. More like whoa. The book changed you and your way of thinking. Good. That's what I was... I wasn't hoping that it would change anyone's way of thinking. I was hoping that, like Shadow Girl just says, it would be thought-provoking. Like the name remains, you would feel more alive. Yo, J-Mo, you made it! Hell yeah, son! Everyone, let's have a warm welcome to my best friend and trainer, well, former trainer, kind of still trainer, Jordan Morello. Everyone's giving a little round of applause, a little golf clap. Thank you. All right, back to the book. Changes, awesome. Yeah, this book, I remember, I don't know if I remember telling you, too many thoughts. I don't remember if I told you, but I read most of this book once, and I left it on a plane before I finished it. And in a way, it was kind of nice, because I got to sit and resonate with the teachings of Morrie that I read the first time, and then to read it again and reread the whole book, even the part that I'd already read. It was really cool because I have a completely different perspective, because that book was like 2 years ago when I read most of it, and I lost it, and then I was like, screw it, I'll get it later. And now we finished it. But I knew that this book would be a great book to start the year with because of the way Morrie talks, the things he's brought up, the things that he him and Mitch discuss. Love or perish. I love that. I love that. This book taught me that every single day of our life is really important, that we have to value our family and friends. Amazing. Yes. Personal growth. Yeah, but there's like a lens through which Morrie sees life. And that's how I want I want, at least for myself, to try to start doing more. How much am I giving? Why do I give? It's so many cool questions. So the afterword is on the 20th anniversary edition. I went out and bought it when I was halfway through. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you. So I will read one part of the afterword because I'm actually, Mitch Oldham talks about it. I'm going to read it right now. And then, I wish Diego was on live right now because there's a concept that is in this. But what do I think about the concept of love in this book? I think it's... I think, if anything, it's an affirmation that love is truly an extremely powerful force, and through love, you can accomplish incredible feats like living on past death and a bunch of other things. I think that's a really cool question. But here we go. I'm going to read this part to you. So this is from the afterword of the 20th anniversary edition. So if you do not have it, you will not have this afterword. But I will start right now. Sometimes on Tuesdays, other people would visit my old professor, and they certainly did on days I was not scheduled. Over time, I noticed a pattern. Many who came determined to raise Morrie's spirits spent an hour in his office and exited in tears. But they were not crying about Morrie's sad fate. They were crying about their job or their divorce, their issues. I went in trying to cheer him up, they'd say. But pretty soon he was asking me about my problems, and I was telling him, and he was asking more, and I was really telling him, and then I started crying. I went in to comfort him, but I ended up being comforted by him. Finally, one Tuesday, I confronted Morrie. I don't understand, I said. If ever anyone had finally earned the right to say, let's not talk about your problems, let's talk about my problems, it would be you. You're sick. It's a really tough disease. Why don't you just accept their sympathy? Morrie raised an eyebrow. Mitch, why would I take like that? Taking just makes me feel like I'm dying. Giving makes me feel like I'm living. Giving makes me feel like I'm living. It's a profound sentence, and so true, because the opposite we know is false. Taking never makes you feel alive. It may be the basis of marketing, commercialism, Madison Avenue, but we know what Morrie said about not buying the culture, taking a new car, a new suit, a new flat-screen TV. None of it will make you feel alive. It's a temporary thrill, gone quickly with the new smell or the warranty wears off. Morrie understood this. It's why many of his possessions could be described as older model. He was invested in something else, giving himself away. At some point during his dying, it became his immortality. Giving is living. That, thanks, brother man. That, for me, is one of the most important parts of the book that I was upset wasn't fully in it. And I'm glad that Mitch Albom decided to include it in this afterword. Because that to me, is such an important concept. And I think that's, like he said, it's Morrie's thesis. And that, I can say, 20 years after this publication, is the biggest message of this book. A question I'm often asked by readers. Sure, the other loving thoughts and aphorisms are essential to Morrie's teachings, and at any given moment in life you might find them coming to mind and shedding light. But giving is living is more than something Morrie said. It was his philosophy. His, I can't pronounce this in French, I'm sorry. His secret. So, I want you guys to just think about that this whole week. Think about giving. How much can you give? Are you giving enough? No one can stop you from giving. They can stop you from taking. Hey, don't take any more of those. But no one can stop you from giving. It's cool how all of these concepts that we've talked about over the last few months, talking about different books, all kind of tie into each other. The most important thing in life is to learn how to give out love and to let it come in. Great quote. I'm going to scroll back a little bit so I can see some of your questions. But that's just something I want that to be, for me, that's something I wanted to think about this coming year. I wanted it to be like, all right, this year, how much can I give? How much can I work through? How much can I do that? So I'm going to start reading your comments. I'm sorry, I've been talking a lot. This book has a strong message about love, family, life, emotions, growth. It really makes you think about everything. Yes. By being present with each other, you give yourself. I want you to think about that. How many times are you with your friends where you're all together, but you're like tweeting, or you're texting, or you're checking Instagram? I do it all the time. You could ask anyone. Diego will be more than happy to tell you that I'm on my phone. But at the same time, how much of that is really important, and how much can we just give to the people in front of us? My cat that's eating food, how much can I give to Stella? Everything. Keep reading. Dude, oh, thank you. To get the full value of joy, you must have someone to divide it with. Ooh, that's an interesting quote. Giving is what drives humanity and gives us hope for positivity in the world. Awesome. Such a good way to start the year. You're right. Yes. Jordan asks a question. Do you think we need to love ourselves before we can give and love someone else? And if so, how do we start loving ourselves more? Dude, that's a hard question. I think the love of oneself is essential to giving love to someone else. Because it's not fully complete. There are people who give a lot of love, but they can't love themselves, and then it's almost hard to accept their love, because it's like, no, you need to give that love to you. I think but I think it's always a process. I don't think one day you wake up and you're like, I finally love myself. I'm cool as shit. No, I think it's a process of every day taking the time and the work, like you would in any loving relationship, to acknowledge the things that you love about yourself. Be like, Alberto, you know what? I love that for the last 6 months, we've read books. I love that. I love that we've worked for that. But at the same time, I can also say, but, like I said earlier today, Alberto hasn't ran his miles. So his consistency there, I'm not in love with right now. Do I hate myself for it? Am I beating myself up? No. That's what I like about, with this question that Jordan brings up, he also brings up his whole life philosophy of going to bed every day, asking the question, did I do what I need to do to make myself better, to take one step closer to my dream? I think that's a way of loving yourself, checking in, saying, hey, how did we do today? Like, we did all right? Well, okay, yeah, okay. So you ate ice cream 3 times. Like, you probably shouldn't do that, and you had 5 cups of coffee. Not very good. But at the same time, you had 5 cups of coffee because you were meeting different friends. Or, you had ice cream because, you guys went to lunch, and then you had ice cream, and then you didn't notice, but you were walking with a different... you can always find the other side of the coin, and I think that's... How do you start loving yourselves more? By doing what you do in any loving relationship, acknowledging that self-love. Be like, you know what? I love that you're doing this. I love that I'm doing this. And I love that I'm doing this. I can do this better. Sorry, I talked for a long time. Let me roll down to the bottom of the questions. I realize it's the purest love I've ever found. I love myself, and I'm proud of the person I am today. I hope I'll be a better person tomorrow. And if you keep thinking in that way, and you keep acting in that way, behaving in a way that I'm going to make myself better every day, then you will. Once you learn how to die, you learn how to live. This was a powerful quote. Why? Shirley Quinn, if you can, please expand on that. Why was it a powerful quote for you? Because I love that quote too. You give the most when you don't stop going, even if you know you get nothing from it. You're just doing it because you want it. There's no prize that comes with it. There's a meme I saw where it's like, you never know what giving truly is until you give to someone who can't ever pay you back. I thought that was cool. Through small battles, we can acknowledge every day is a new opportunity, and there is always something beautiful in every day. Yes. Thanks for this book. No, thank you guys for reading it with me. Because remember, you guys, one thing about this book club that I say, and I hope you guys understand, that you guys are holding me accountable to my reading just as much as this book club is holding you. And this has been a wonderful thing to read to start the year. This whole idea of how much can I give? I don't know what that. Diego and I were talking about that as artists. Why do we give? That's a whole other concept. The part of the family and of death has moved me. One is something that I care more, the other that I fear most, same as old age. These are everyday things that we hardly talk about. Isn't that strange that in humanity, the everyday things that everyone takes part in, we hardly talk about? Like, we don't talk about going to the bathroom, we don't talk about death, we don't talk about a lot of things that every human does. Someone farts in public, it's embarrassing. Why? I mean, it's funny, but embarrassing? It shouldn't be embarrassing. I really don't know how to love myself. It's always a battle. Well, it is with everyone. I think that's that's one of the things you need to say. It's like no one ever fully loves himself all the time. It's always a choice and a battle. A choice to be like, no, I'm gonna love myself. Did I do as best I could today? Maybe not, but did I try as hard as I could? Yeah. You can't ask any more than that of yourself. Okay, I'm going to read this quote. As soon as you hit 30, you care less what others think and more about yourself. Many lose their 20s trying to impress. I'm not 30 yet. I'm about to turn 25. So I can say that I see that as the process I'm going through right now. Slowly stopping trying to please others or fill this version of myself that I don't understand. I'm trying to just live my life. The loving relationships we have, the universe around us, we take these things for granted. Isn't that crazy? Oh, Aaron, yeah, I didn't cry, but I was very upset reading the 14th Tuesday, and I did tear up, but I teared up at a different part, which I thought was weird. I didn't tear up when he said goodbye. I teared up. I teared up when he's like, mine began dear coach and his began dear player. For some reason, each time I read that, I miss him more. Have you ever really had a teacher, one who saw you as a raw but precious thing, a jewel that with wisdom could be polished to a proud shine? If you're lucky enough to find your way to such teachers, you'll always find your way back. Sometimes it's only in your head, sometimes it's right alongside their beds. The last class of my old professor's life took place once a week in his home, by a window in his study where he could watch a small hibiscus plant shed its pink flowers. The class met on Tuesday. No books were required. The subject was the meaning of life. It was taught from experience. The teaching goes on. I love that part. If you think about it, it's like his message. In a way, he was our teacher. I don't know. This book was a lot, and I feel weird that I haven't fully taken it in. Like Feeding the Good Wolf. When we read this a couple months ago, I almost died, and this book just filled my heart because I had given so much. And when it was time, people came to give me. The book showed me I made an impact. Wow. Cool. Very cool. Sorry, I'm scrolling down to the bottom, guys. I might have missed a lot of questions. Accept who you are and revel in it. Have I ever cried reading a book? I think To Kill a Mockingbird I did. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. The big thing is how we think, what we value. Those you must learn for yourself. You can't let anyone or any society determine those for you. Thank you for bringing that up, Kat Parker, 2906. The things we think, what we value, you must learn for yourself. That's one thing I was thinking about recently. Like, what is the value system in place? Every day, that's the Women's March. That's why I want to go. Because in putting my time there, people know that that's something I think is of value. And thinking that we need to start perpetuating this as a value by putting our time in women's marches, by being an active speaker and person and things, right? So, I don't know. This book was very... I still feel like I'm learning, and I'm sorry that I can't, put what's up here out here yet, fully. One can enrich one's life with meaning by loving others, dedicating oneself to the community that lives around us, and creating something that gives us a purpose and sense. People act as if death is contagious. It's not contagious, death is as natural as life. It's part of the deal we made. Isn't... That line hit me. It's part of the deal we made. Real quick, Shadow Girl, are we reading this book? We will reread this book in 5 years. But the deal we made, what deal did we make to be here? We never think about that. Because it can feel like we didn't choose to be here. But I like the idea of saying, you know what? I made a deal to get here. Some guy upstairs, the big guy at the top of the stairs, him and I had a conversation, and I made a deal with him to be here. But what's part of that deal? I'm like, yo, you gotta let me go. And he's like, all right, but you gotta earn it. How am I earning it? What am I giving? Isn't that cool? Charlie Quinn wants my thoughts on the living funeral. Let's ask everyone about that. What do you guys think about the living funeral? And thank you, Nina Girl. Articulate is the word I was looking for. There was a moment when I felt that Morrie was talking to me. I cried so much. This book is amazing. Oh. So, what did I just ask, though? I said... That's bad that I can't remember what I just said. Okay, well, I just asked a question. So, the question that I asked, if you guys can answer it. Hey, Popsicle! So, everyone, really quickly... the idea of the living funeral. Okay, let's talk about that. Well, what do you guys think about that? I decided I want everyone to wear black to my funeral. I think that's customary, but cool. I want everyone to wear whatever they want, and I want it to be a party. Living funeral part got me emotional. Tears are okay. Try to stick to it. I wish lives had a rewind 10-second button. Yo, me too, though. You want a living funeral. Why? Well, there's a concept from the living funeral that I think that Morrie talked about, that Mitch talked about, and that I think is super important. Morrie gave back to death by choosing to be cremated rather than traditionally buried. We don't often think about how bad that is for the environment. Oh, wow, okay. I was saying the living funeral I thought was interesting because in that moment, he allowed everyone to take in that to appreciate his existence. And instead of being embarrassed or scared by this idea, he reveled in it. And instead of feeling uncomfortable, like most people, or I won't speak for most people, I'll say for myself, when people sing you happy birthday, you get a little uncomfortable because you don't really know how to act. You're like, thanks, it's my birthday. Yeah, I appreciate this, but I don't know how to respond. Morrie could have done that at his living funeral, but no, he was open to this love, open to this appreciation. And imagine if you spent every day appreciating the people that you care about as if it were their living funeral. I think that's the concept that I got from that, was like, technically, every moment that we're living, we're also one step closer to whenever that ends. So why don't we tell people we appreciate them? Why don't we treat life as if it's already a living funeral? You know what I mean? He was giving them an opportunity to say goodbye. I love that. He was still giving. The living funeral is such an interesting idea because it was a way of being who you are without feeling like you have to be like others. Yes. The thing is that he knew he was going to die soon, so the living funeral was okay, but sometimes you die just like that, and not everyone can have that. Right. He was so joyful until the end. I think happy birthday makes everyone uncomfortable. What do you think of the pre-funeral? I've cried a lot during this part. The pre-funeral. Oh, the living funeral. But by throwing yourself into these emotions, by allowing yourself to dive in all the way, over your head even, you can experience them fully and completely. Morrie mentions that knowing about his death gives him the chance to say goodbye, but the living funeral was a chance for others to say goodbye. Funerals are usually for the sake of the living, for them to get some kind of closure. But Morrie made it about him and the love he shared with everyone. I'm going to buy this book, give it to my friend as a present. You should. I dislike singing presents on my birthday. I'd rather do a fun activity with my loved ones. I agree. I think it's important, though, because they're there to appreciate you. That's something like on your birthday, you're saying, hey, this is the year you were born. This is the day you were born. It's a pretty cool day because it makes me think of you and all the cool stuff we've done together. All the times you've been there for me. So I'm going to sing a song to you to be like, yo, I love that I'm a part of your life. That's how I see birthdays. So it gets a little weird, but if you choose to see it from that, like, oh, this is an opportunity we all share in our friendship. The love that I give you, and hopefully the love that you guys give me. That's why you're at my birthday. It's like another living funeral almost, if you think about it. What do you think about, book AJ_me, I don't know if that's your name, might be Book Edge, I don't know. Everyone, I want to talk about this question real quick. What do you think about the fact that he died when nobody else was in the room? As long as we can love each other and remember the feeling of love we had, we can die without ever really going away. I love that. The living funeral is an opportunity to say goodbye. A living funeral keeps promise that you've given to people around you. We always wanted it that way. What do you think about maybe he felt it was safer because everyone already said goodbye. Maybe. That's all. I think I agree with Mitch in the book, where he's like, that's what he wanted. He didn't want to take the beauty of his life away from people by having them see it leave. He wanted to leave them with Morrie. And then he also got to leave on his own terms, be like, now it's time. I love that idea, though, that Morrie was always making a deal with the guy upstairs. Like, I think that's so cool. Stella's here. You don't have to be physically present to express love, and he knew that, and he was at peace. Yes. I like Mitch's belief that Morrie died when no one was there, so it wasn't in their memory. Yeah, the most important thing in life is to learn how to give out love and to let it come in. Yes. Death ends life, but not a relationship. I love that idea. Because it's so true. Ven, aquí está mi amor. Usted la preciosa. Do you think Morrie was more of a concept than a real person? Interesting. Message for us to carry through our lives. I like that. That's interesting. I don't know. I think his life force is like that. Go. Be free. Be free. Oh, sorry. When I read the comments, do you guys want me to read everything I'm reading out loud, or are you guys reading along as well? All right. So let's talk about this now. We have about 20 minutes left because I want to leave early. I told you 10, well, more like 10, 15-ish left. Dia0603, thank you. If that's not the way you pronounce your name, I apologize. But yes, you are not a wave. You are part of the ocean. We should all follow by this quote. What do you guys think about that? I'm looking at no. I'll look at it later. What do you guys think about that? Okay, everyone reads along? All right, good. Good. That'd be weird, right? If I was like... No, I don't think Morrie is a concept, going back to that. I think Morrie is a person, and I think that's the beauty of it. That's something that pure, I think, and that truthful is in humanity. We can all do that. We can all find that. Did I have a teacher like that? My parents. My parents were wonderful examples in both what they've said to me and in how they've behaved, and the way they teach me. Both of my parents were like that with me, I think. And my dad, I know I can go to him about anything, and my mom, the same. If people followed this quote, the world would be more peaceful. People would care about each other like their own. There wouldn't be hate. The ocean stands for strength, but why? Because it's not one drop of water. It's an entire ocean. It's not one wave. It's an entire ocean. And the ocean, understanding that it's all one, gets its power. Part of something being each day have a little bird on your shoulder and asks, is today the day I die? And what do we say to the God of death? Not today. I look a little tired. Last night we had our first dinner with the cast, so I'm a little tired. Okay, who was it? Anna Cat Fernandez? Did you send me the Nightline things on Twitter? I have not watched the Morrie interviews. I do want to talk about those, so we'll make that part of the reading for next week or whenever we talk again. That we should watch those and just talk about them real quick. Yeah, it's a true story. Can we talk about that really quickly? Because that's something that really struck me. That made me emotional. Oh my goodness. Nezika 6? If I didn't say it right, I'm sorry. I don't want to butcher anyone's names, but I want to give you the credit. She said, she brought up the quote, "It's not just other people we need to forgive, Mitch." He finally whispered, "We also need to forgive ourselves." How do you guys feel about that? About forgiving yourselves? I love that quote too, but what do you think that means? What do you guys think that means? We never do. We need to do it more. Forgiving yourself is hard when you do stuff that affects the people you care about, right? I think it's harder to forgive yourself. It's so important. Forgiving others is easy. Forgiving yourself is hard. But why? I want to hear that. Why do you think it's hard? What do you come up against when you attempt to forgive yourself? There we go. Catherine Elizabeth. Forgiving yourself is part of loving yourself. Forgiving yourself is crucial to continuing your own existence. Thank you, kid. Oh my goodness, I cannot pronounce your name. I'm sorry. Your own existence, happiness, to be honest. You need to forgive yourself before you really forgive others. I think we have to play a balance. This is what I'm discovering. I have to play a balance with being super hard on myself to make sure that I'm growing every day and working hard towards that. But at the same time, accepting what I am, accepting who I am, and saying it is a journey. It's not a day-to-night thing. It's a process. And if there are moments that I feel like I have to give, like, oh, you didn't take that opportunity, but forgive yourself. You were scared and you understand that. That means the next time I have to work past that and not be afraid of that opportunity. You can't live on without forgiving yourself, even if other people forgive you. It's personally and only means something to you. True. For me, it's easier to forgive others and forgive ourselves. Forgiving yourself is the only way you can learn. Self-forgiveness is key to how we grow, learn to love. Sometimes it's hard forgiving ourselves because we don't love ourselves enough. How you love yourself is how you teach others to love you. Thank you, Rita, for bringing that Rupi Kaur quote in. Because that's true. You know, my dad always used to tell me this, and I want you guys to think about this with your siblings. Growing up, if I was ever mean to my brother, I would get in so much trouble. My dad would pull me aside, and I'd get in trouble, and then we'd have a talk after everything died down, and I got yelled at or whatever. And he'd be like, you cannot treat your brother that way, ever. Because the minute that you treat your brother in a way that is not 100% respectful, you open the door for other people to disrespect him. Now, when you take that same lesson and you put it on yourself, you cannot treat yourself with disrespect. You cannot allow yourself to not love yourself, because then it tells other people that that's okay to treat you that way as well. To me, it's one of the hardest lessons to learn, and I know I'll be working on it for a very long time. But I'm working on it. I think that's the important thing. Oh, thank you guys. My dad is a very wise man. Very wise man, and I feel very honored to just be able to talk to him sometimes. And my mom is my mom is a genius. So having both of them to teach me these things, these self-love, this never compromising in how people treat you. So that's what I want. I want this year to us be thinking about a few main concepts. I want us to be open towards other people this year. That's something that I'm working on. I'm like, I want to be more open. I want to listen better. Remember? I want to be more open. I want to be more present in everything. There's a good writer, philosopher named E.M. Forster, and there's a book over here called Howard's End. In it, he sums up he says 2 words: only connect. I want to do that more. Only connect. I want to connect. These are things I think we can really work with. I want to be like Morrie at 78 years old. I want to give as an adult, and take as a child. I love that. Be as open to that giving as a child is, you know? They have no walls. They're ready for it. And then each time you get knocked down or someone disappoints you, it's okay. Because they're human and that's their process. You just get up and keep trying. Don't let the world harden you. Something I'm also working on. So let's, we're going to start to wrap up now. Let's leave with these messages, though. I want everyone, what I'm going to do this, because now I just finished this book, I'm going to think about that. How am I giving? How can I give more? How am I accepting my own love? Am I accepting to my own love? I don't know. I hope. And if not, I'm going to learn. I'm going to forgive myself every single time I fail. I'm going to forgive myself when it's not going as well. Yoga is going very well. Jamie Lee Carter, thank you for asking. One can enrich one's life with meaning by loving others, dedicating oneself to the community that lives around us, and creating something that gives us a purpose. So this year, I want you to have that in mind. What am I creating actively that gives me purpose? How am I connecting to my community around me, and how am I perpetuating the love that I give myself? So those are the questions I wanted to bring up, and that's why I started with this book. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Guys, we've read 6 books now, right? 6 books? That's a big freaking deal. I'm very proud of us. And as the world keeps spinning, we keep on reading. So, we are now going to be moving into Fahrenheit 451. From what I recall, from what someone had just said to me, hold on one sec, guys. Sorry, this book is a little weird for me. I haven't looked at it yet. Okay, so it's about 158 pages in the book. Someone talked to me. They said it's broken up in 3 parts. I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was. So, we're going to read part 1 for Saturday at noon. Alright, part 1. Takes you not too far. You have some time to kind of let this book sit with you and chill. You don't have to dive right in. But we're going to read part 1. Also, my book has a criticism and, what do they call it? History, context, and criticism of Fahrenheit 451. So I'm going to start diving into that to see if there's anything else. If anyone else wants to read that as well, you can. But for Saturday at noon, we are reading the first part of this book. So yes, I'm very excited. Rita, thank you so much for doing all of your work, keeping the PDFs updated. If anyone, it's about 67 pages, 70 pages-ish, so it's not too much. We've read more before. So this is chill. This is a chiller book. We'll burn through this in probably a couple weeks, 3 weeks maybe, if we feel like we could read more. Keep Twitter posted. Thank you guys for joining today. I had a great time talking, and I hope that, I don't know, I hope this book really affected you, and I hope that you guys really get to have some fun with it. I put the music back on because I was feeling it. So, thank you very much, guys. I will see you next week. I'm going to see if I can go make this Women's March. It's happening in Toronto. So, have a good one, guys. Until next time, keep reading, keep exploring, keep growing, keep learning, keep being positive forces for change in the world. Peace.